Hello. Good morning, friends. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Sound ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಲೋ ಏನು ಸೌಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತೈತಿ ಹಲೋ am I audible?
Hello, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
ಆಯ್ತು ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕು
Yes, sir.
done. 1 second and start. Wait a minute.
Sir, starting videos to two videos send in group, sir.
I have sent one. I have already sent one to YouTube channel. Document ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರಿದ್ರು ನನ್ನೊಂದು Okay, done. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
I think last time these operators we have discussed. Increment, decrement operators, condition operators we have seen, bitwise operators, special operators we have seen. And then about these variables also I think I have discussed. And these constant variables. And about this constant variables we have discussed. And now we have to see the scope of the variables. Here, the position or the area where that variable is declared, and that defines the scope of the variables. So you've seen a small, sample here, small code of C# consisting of one class here called ABC. Usually class names are written in ABC. It's a nomenclature. Okay, it's a convention.
Sir, screen share करा के.
Screen share करो क्या? 1 second.
हाँ sir, वाई नहीं.
हाँ, कुठे इकडे बघा.
Screen sharing वाई नहीं sir.
वाई ना काय? 1 second. Madam screen sharing गेली दिले. Madam और स्क्रीन शेअरिंग या कामात नाही ऑप्शन केलं ओके Is it okay, Nadim?
सर अजून काय आहे नाही स्क्रीन
जरा बघ रे बाबा.
सर आहे नाही हो विचारा की कोणाला हा आता यायला लागलोय
आता चालू झालं ते. हा बरं, ओके, डन. आता चालू करतो की.
हा सर ओके सर
Okay. Now this is a small code here consisting a small class here, and the class name is ABC, and you can see one variable called int m here. Okay, and that is called a static variable. One keyword is preceded with that, static. And here one more variable called int n. Okay, and here small function is there, method, and the name of the method is fun, which is user defined identifier, and it is not returning anything, so return void. Okay, so generally this function consisting of opening and closing parentheses here, and in this parenthesis all these are called as parameters, and each parameter is of different connection होईल मॅडम. कनेक्शन गेलं का रे बाबा? आहे की
सर
हाय, तरी पण जरा स्लो असं वाटतं रे इंटरनेट आहे.
हा जरा बफरिंग मला लागले
बफरिंग व्हायचं जरा, काय असू दे, असंच ऍडजस्ट करावं लागणार. चला
हा सर
आता व्हेरिएबल इथे काय आहे, int x. Okay, this is also parameter. This parameter is declared as integer type, and it is separated by comma, and it is one more variable that is integer of type y here. Y is of integer type, and this is preceded with ref here. It is a keyword, and it is acting as a reference variable. Okay, y is the integer type, and it is of reference variable. One more, z is integer, which is of out type. One more, a is array type here. Okay, this is how we declare in C#. Name and then array symbol, and it is going to hold all integer homogeneous elements. It doesn't have any heterogeneous, homogeneous, similar data type. A is an array holding integer elements in it. One more, in this body of the function, one more variable called j here, that is initialized to 10. So if you see the area, every variable is of different type here. One is static, the other one is integer over here, and all these parameters inside this function. And one is int x, reference, out, int, array type, and then one more inside this function. So let's see the scope of this variable. You can see at the top, scope of the variable is a region, okay, area of a code within which a variable can be accessed. Okay, if you declare a variable inside this function, it cannot be accessed outside the body of this class or the function. So this is how it shows idea. This depends on the type of the variable. Type in the sense static variable, okay, local variable, global variable, reference variable, out type variable, array variable. That is basically called the type of the variable. So type may be of static type, local, global, reference type, out type, in type, array type, all this. So this defines the variable of its type. Then place. Okay, place in the sense one is written inside the class, and one more is inside this bracket of this function, and one more is within this body of the function. So that is all the place we call it. And let us see what is this m is. M as a static variable. As I told you, m is of static variable. The value of m is not allowed to be varied here. Okay, static and it is as good as a constant here. Okay, about that static will be discussing later. Timing it is sufficient. Any variable which is preceded by the keyword that is static is considered to be as a static variable. That's all. One more is n. N is the instance variable. Okay, n is here within the body of this class. If I declare a variable, this variable is of type what? Instance variable. Now coming to this all x, y, z, and a here. Let us see what is a static and instance variable are declared at the class level. Okay, within that class here you can see, not within a function or inside this parenthesis of a function here. It is declared at the class level and are known as fields. These are also called as what? Fields here, field variables. Remember, okay. And one more thing, the scope of this variable begins at the place of the declaration. So scope, कहाँ से चालू करेगा? So you can use them. You cannot use them outside this class here. Okay. At the place of declaration, and ends when main function terminates. So they are available as long as the whole function is running. Okay. That is the static and instance variable. Their existence, their scope is till the end of the main function. जब तक main जिंदा रहता है तब तक वो जिंदा रहेगा, ऐसा है. That's called a static variable, instance variable. Now, one more thing, x, y, z are the parameters of the method function. Okay, x, y, z. So these are called as parameters. The variables which are defined inside the bracket of this function are called as parameters. Okay, x, y, z. One more a is there. That is array type. X is a value variable which is going to hold the value. Okay, directly when I call a function from a main or from any other class or function, I'm going to pass some value and that value will be copied into this. Therefore, it is called as value variable here, parameter. One more, why is reference variable? So about this reference pointers, I think you have discussed in Java. Here we're not discussing much. Okay, just you have to have an idea. No need to much explore yourself about this all. Okay, don't get confused. Be very simple. Okay, this is sufficient. Why is reference variable? Because it is preceded by the keyword that is ref. Ref is a keyword here. You cannot write complete reference here. Rather, you have to simply write it as ref integer. I won't write it completely. Just a int keyword that is having a reserved word, special meaning. You cannot alter the meaning of that by simply changing it shortcut or lengthier. You cannot write it as it is. You have to write. That's all. Similarly, it is a reference variable and Z is the output variable. About this in out will be having one sample program and then that will get a certain idea what this in out parameter, reference parameter, value parameter is going to do for us later on. Now, the reference and output parameters Y and Z do not create new locations. Instead, they represent the same storage location as the variable that are passed in the arguments here. So here this reference and output parameters, they are acting as a alias name. One more name is given to the location. Okay, one person may have two or more names here. Okay, say my name is Chidanand. I usually call my mom as a Banya. So one more alias name it is. ABDVDS. He is referred as alias name is ABD. Finish like that. So here Y and Z are acting as a one more name to the same location. That is called as a reference variable output parameters. Okay. We are going to refer the same memory location with one another name. Okay. Okay. If you change content of that memory, the Y and Z will be reflected automatically. Okay. We'll discuss that later. It is sufficient time being. Y and Z are acting as output parameter. They don't create new location. Instead, they represent the same location as a variable that are passed in the coordinate. One more is array parameter. So this is symbol. So A is array parameter. And J is called as a local variable. So J is declared inside this body of this function. Therefore, it is local to this. Once the control comes out of this block here, the content of J are no more accessible outside this class here. So that is a scope. Then this body, this particular J is available. Once the control comes out of this body of the function here, the content J is nowhere existing here. As good as it dies here. Okay, it get vanished. Okay. The content of J will be lost. You cannot access them later on. So this is how the scope is here. Done. So now static variable, instance variable, and then parameters such as value parameter, reference parameter, out parameter. Okay, am I audible to you, guys?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा बड़ा हो क्या? बस इतना काफी है. Done. And array parameter, and later on the J as a local variable. So this is how the scope of the variable is over. Done. Okay. So how many variables? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 types of variables, and their availability scope is being discussed. Let's see the operator precedence. Okay, so in order to evaluate any of the expression, our ALU, arithmetic logic unit of your CPU, central processing unit, because central processing unit is a chip here, IC chip. It's consisting of major blocks such as ALU, arithmetic logic unit, control unit. It controls the complete activities of your computer. Similarly, there is some register array. Some simple registers will be there. Array of registers for intermediate operations, okay, such as accumulator, okay, instruction register. All these goes. If you study the architecture of computer, you will come across all those things. Not required here much. Similarly, here arithmetic logic unit, it has to follow certain precedence here, because in order to evaluate an expression here, it has to follow some hierarchy. In what way, in what order the expression is to be evaluated. Okay, is it from left to right? Which parentheses are to be given higher priority? And later on, this multiplication division modulus got higher priority. Similarly, plus minus got lower priority. So these three things we'll consider here. You may come across many other operators, but here for understanding purpose, this is sufficient. Operator precedence. We consider an expression consisting of some parameters and sorry parentheses, and then the expression is also consisting of multiplication operation operator, division operator. Let's consider that expression holds some modulo operator as well. And then it has also got some plus and minus. So we consider an expression consisting of some parentheses and then all these arithmetic operations and then finally plus minus. So therefore, if you see this here, parenthesis is to be evaluated first. The content or the expression which is present inside the parenthesis have to be evaluated first. And then after evaluating, after removing that parenthesis, we have to find out from left to right. An expression, we have to scan from left to right here. Okay, this is how left to right. This way you have to go. So whichever comes first, multiplication. If you come across a positive or negative here from left side, you should not evaluate here. So you got to just evaluate the plus multiplication and modulus. All these, whichever comes first, that you have to evaluate. Because an expression is consisting two operands and one operator in between. You can see here a minus b. It is one simple expression here. It is consisting a as an operand, b as an operand as well, and then some operator in between. So this operation is to be carried out among these two or between these two. So this you have to do here. Okay. Similarly, an arithmetic expression will with parentheses will be processed first. If parentheses are nested, so parentheses inside parentheses are nested, what we will do is then evaluation of an expression will proceed outwards from innerwards. So अंदर से हम बाहर evaluate करते करते आएंगे. We can have some example here, one or two, that you can understand easily. Similarly, in all the expression with multiplication, division, modulo operation are evaluated from left to right. Very important. Some operators are evaluated from right to left. Very few operators are there where the operators have to be evaluated from right to left, such as power, exponential. Those are having right to left associativity. So that associativity we don't discuss here. Okay. Uh, just here you have to evaluate from left to right. That you have to understand. And all the expression with addition subtraction are evaluated from left to right later on. So parentheses have got highest priority, then multiplication and division higher priority. These are having the least priority and the lower priority. Example, you can consider here one expression such as a minus b divided by 3 plus c into 2 minus 1. Okay. So if you perform this a negative first, you end up with the wrong answer. And after doing this expression, if you do some division operation, or you can, if you add these to 3 plus c first and then you multiply, definitely you will get the wrong answer. Hello, what happened?
ಸರ್ ಸರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಸರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರಿ.
One second.
ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗನಿಲ್ರಿ ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರದ 3 people ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಓಕೆ ಡನ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬಂದಿರ್ರಿ? ಅಕ್ಷತಾ ಹಲಿಗೊಪ್ಪ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ? ಓಕೆ, ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Is it okay, guys? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, again we'll consider a simple example here. So this is how one simple example where the content of A is 9, B is 12, C is 13. Statement becomes something like this here. I fill the content of A here. I substitute all the values of A, B, C in this expression. This will be like this. And how it is evaluated? It has got some passes here. First pass, second pass. Okay, in that the parenthesis or nested parenthesis have to be evaluated first. That is called a first pass. Second pass, left to right, multiplication, division, and modulo operator, whichever comes in that particular expression, that will be evaluated in the second pass. And similarly, in the third pass here, while scanning from left to right the expression, remaining expression, whichever comes first, or it may come across positive or negative, plus or minus, that will be evaluated. So like that, first pass, second pass, third pass, it goes here. And in every pass here, some steps are given here. Okay, initially, x is equal to this. This is 12 divided by 3 is evaluated, because in this expression from left to right, you come across some operators minus, it is having some least priority. Whereas division, it is got higher priority. Therefore, 12 divided by 3 is evaluated. So that is 4 here. That is written here. Okay, 12 divided by 3 yields what? 4. So 9 minus 4 plus 3 into 2 minus 1 as it is right. And in the same first pass here, I have one more operator, that is into, that is multiplication. That has to be done here. Therefore, while scanning from left to right, if I come across parenthesis, I do it. But luckily, I don't have any parenthesis. And I come here, I have least priority operator minus, I skip this. And one more least priority, my plus operator, I skip this here. I have come across one higher priority multiplication. So this is to be evaluated first. So therefore, 3 into 2 is evaluated, and that leads to what? It yields answer as 6 here. So therefore, this is what the only, expression left out with us. So therefore, it is written here, 3 into 2 is evaluated in common. Okay, therefore 9 minus. Now, in this expression, second pass I go, because again I have to scan from left to right. I have to, all the parentheses are over, all the multiplication, division, modulo operators are done here. I am left out with only these least priority operators such as minus, plus, module, or whatever it is. Okay. I left to right. This I come across. I evaluate this. 9 minus 4 is 5. Done. And remaining all I keep it as it is. Because CPU works, uh, uh, evaluates or does it's like a computation only one at a time. Okay, one expression will be evaluated at the time, same time. You cannot do multiple operations here. Therefore, this is evaluated. Then this intermediate result is kept into your accumulator, and then all these values are stored inside the register. Similar 9 minus 4 is evaluated, 5 is yield. Now, again, left to right, I have to scan it here. I come across 5 plus 6 here. I don't need to do 6 minus 1. Even if you do that, no problem. But here, ALU starts from left to right. I come across plus. Plus and minus are having the same priority. Okay, third priority. Here you can see third priority. Okay, therefore, any of this operation can be done, but from left to right you have to do. Therefore, I come across, I admit everybody. Everybody is there, right? Hello. Oh, okay, done. Hello. Are you listening
Yes,
or
sir.
not? Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
Now, 5 plus 6 is 11 here. Again, the step number 4. So like that, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stepwise you're evaluating here, and every step is there inside this particular passes here. So therefore, 11 is the answer. Then this is written here, 5 plus 6 is evaluated. And then finally, I have end up with only this small expression, 11 minus 1 is 10. This is what the simple evaluation. Okay. Now you can consider these two examples. You can make a note on a piece of paper and then start executing it here. You can, because you come across some parentheses here. Of course, these are all nested parentheses inside the parenthesis. Now, from left to right, I come across parentheses. Therefore, inside this parenthesis, this one more parenthesis here. Therefore, this is to be evaluated because this parenthesis is inside this big, wider parenthesis here. Therefore, this is to be evaluated from 3 plus 3, that is 6. And then I do, then 12 divided by 6, I can do it here. Okay, because I have to evaluate this internal parenthesis here. So once I do 3 plus 3 here, these parenthesis symbols I have to remove it here. Okay, only one value I cannot keep into the parenthesis. Okay, it leads to confusion. I just remove it here. Okay, I have to make it plain like this. Expression should be plain like this here. All the parentheses to be removed. So if I evaluate 3 plus 3, the parenthesis symbol is removed. 12 divided by 6 is what? 2 here. So 2 into 2 is 4. So 9 minus 4, I do it here. That is 9 minus 4 is 5. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So this is how the answer is. So like that, you just execute it here. This is what the priority, precedence, operator precedence. Okay. Highest priority has got parenthesis, and then later on multiplication, division, modulo is a higher priority, and then the least of the lower priority, all the arithmetic operators are plus and minus. So this is about operator precedence. Don't follow this operator precedence in evaluation expression. it always reads the wrong answer. So therefore, that is very important, and that is taken care by your compiler or the CPU. So let's see what is this. So, now let's see what are the data types which supported by C hash. Let's check it out. Is it visible to you, all this text clearly?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sure. ಆವಾಜ್ ಯಾಕೋ ಇದೈತಿ ಹಂಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಐತಿ. Buffering slow idalri, internet speed is too weak, I think. Anyway, data types. Okay, actually the data types in C# are broadly categorized into value type. Okay. Madam, I saw ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಚಾರ್ಜರ್. Madam, 1 second. 1 minute. I'll just put charger to this container. Madam, charger ಇದೆ. ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್